Who are the fearsome troopers of the Empire clad in black armor known as Death Troopers? Where do they come from? What's their training like? And are they even really alive? All of these questions we'll answer in this video. Death Troopers are the Empire's most elite stormtrooper variant. Death Troopers specialize as bodyguards and stealth commandos for their Empire. They have dark black armor that scrambles enemy sensors and allows them to stay off the grid. Death Trooper armor also has a heads-up display and a micro-motion sensor that helps detect enemies and show where enemy and ally positions are. Death Troopers are trained to use any Imperial weapon and are expert in hand-to-hand combat. Death Troopers operate under Imperial intelligence and often have been seen as a guardian to members of the Tarkin Initiative and other members of Imperial High Command. Death Troopers are experts in covering the track and have been said to even rival the Mandalorians in physical combat. But Episode 8 of The Mandalorian seems to disagree. Death Troopers are also picked from the best of the best from the Imperial Stormtrooper Corps. They have to meet certain height and strength requirements as well as being completely loyal to their Emperor. Death Troopers had to be subjugated to rigorous training that surpassed even the ARC Trooper training program. Most Death Troopers had to have some surgical enhancements that would allow them to never run out of stamina as well as think faster and be even more loyal than they already were. Death Troopers' loyalty was so high that many of them would blow themselves up just to prevent capture or to kill a few puny rebels. Death Troopers could wield any weapon, but they often used E11D blaster carbines, DLT-19D heavy blaster rifles, SE-14R light repeating blaster pistols, and C-25 fragmentation grenades. But Death Troopers could also be seen with DLT-19 heavy blaster rifles, smart rockets, E-11s, and various types of grenades and other weapons. Before we talk more about the classified genetic enhancement that Death Troopers may or may not have had to take, let's talk a bit about some fun facts about these black armored juggernauts. Death Troopers wore black pauldrons on their right shoulder that denoted their ranks. These pauldrons all look the same to normal people. When you look through one of their pauldrons through a stormtrooper helmet, you can see their rank. There are actually two types of Death Troopers, those being Special Forces and Bodyguard Death Troopers. All Death Troopers could fulfill both roles, but their armor is different depending on what they were doing. Special Forces Death Troopers are covered with tactical pouches and extra gear and grenades, and are geared to fight in large-scale battles. They were the ones who wore the pauldrons, while Bodyguard Death Troopers had none of that and were not geared out for a full battle. They were mostly geared out to protect whoever they were assigned to protect, and also just to look freaking cool. Another fun fact about Death Troopers, they all have the rank of a Stormtrooper Commander by default. They can also be promoted all the way up to either the rank of a Navy Commando or an Army Captain. Death Troopers are always under the command of whoever they were assigned to protect, but they are allowed to ignore any order that may put their assigned officer in danger. Those were some fun facts about Death Troopers, but now it's time to get into what this video is really about, answering the question of, are Death Troopers actually alive, or are they zombies, like the Death Trooper novel? In recent times, people have had arguments on whether or not Death Troopers are actually alive and human after they undergo their genetic enhancements. And it's going to be my job in this video now to give you the evidence on both sides of the argument and answer the questions, are Death Troopers really living? Now, fair warning, there will be some opinion in this because that question was never answered in canon. But I hope that we can at least try and piece together a little bit about the story of some of the most strong troopers in the entire Galactic Empire. Now, the first piece of evidence that I want to show you that kind of started this entire issue is a brightened image from Ahsoka Season 1, Episode 8, where the Death Troopers that Sabine and Ezra are fighting are very decayed and all zombified. And that kind of kicked off the entire thing. So, the side that believes that Death Troopers are still alive and humans have counter-argued that with those Death Troopers most likely just died a long time ago, and were revived by the Night Sisters' magic. Dead Death Trooper gang then rebuked that by saying that those troopers fired their blasters, and the undead Night Troopers couldn't fire their blasters. But of course, that was rebuked because the Death Troopers were too slow and not very accurate like they should be, and took so much damage without dying. And yes, their armor is very strong, but it's not that strong. But of course, the dead Death Trooper gang, of course, said that we've seen Death Troopers take many shots before, but someone brought up in Rebels and we see them taking like one shot. But then the Death Troopers Are Dead group responded with that Rebels is a kid show and they can't make very strong bad guys that can beat the heroes. But of course, then the other side brought up how the Clone Wars did it and the dead Death Trooper clan kind of shut up. But instead of stopping the debate there, the Death Troopers Are Alive group dug them even further down by showing the clip where we see a female Death Trooper speaking in Rebels, and then to an entire chapter, the Thrawn book, where two Death Troopers accompany a Chiss officer to an Imperial planet to stop a corrupt Grand Admiral. They're not wearing any armor and are talking and acting very normal. Now, in my opinion, are from the start of the issue, and the Death Troopers are still quite humans, even if they have some slight genetic enhancements. And after looking at all this evidence, my opinion has not changed. I can now confidently say, without a doubt, Death Troopers, yes, they are still human. They may have some slight modifications, but they're not as extreme as everyone says they are. Sure, they might be slightly faster, but I'm pretty sure it's mostly probably just like some really strong steroids or something, like last forever. So yeah, my opinion has not changed, but I would love to hear your opinions on the issue, so if you agree with me, or if you don't, comment your beliefs down below. This has been some Catnap. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel for more Star Wars content. Peace.